Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jeremy, founder of You Know What, quickmail.io.
And this is Jack, Chief Lead Generation Officer at salesspread.com. Today, we're hanging out with a water cooler.
Yeah.
Is that orange soda?
Yeah, it's a fantastic stuff. Anyway, this is not
a
sponsor
Can you
of
show
today.
it? Can you show it for the camera? I like European soft drinks. We don't have any of those. What's the label? What
it looks
are you
tiny,
drinking?
Right? So, well, it's fantastic. Man, this is not the sponsor of today. Sponsor of today is here. It's
everybody
quickmail.io,
wants to know.
right? It's one of the best cool email software, automation, deliverability, all that jazz. And inbox rotation if you want, volume without actually meeting problems with volume.
Look at that.
Check us out.
It's the cold email tool for orange soda enthusiasts
and ice creams.
Okay,
there you go.
Well, I'm sophisticated, Jeremy, so I have a ginger seltzer water. There's no sugar in here.
Yeah, it's my cheat day, as you can guess.
Have fun with it, Jeremy. Yeah, my life is cheat day.
So okay, so or not, right?
It is, but a word from Salesbread needs to happen, and then we can get right into just water cooler chit chat. But for right now, most B2B companies lack the time or expertise to get those.
You have to do it as water coolers type. Like, hey, do you know, Jeremy? I got Sorry.
Okay. So hey, Jeremy, you ever have this happen to you? I'm telling you, this is my life, man. You go on, you get your list of prospects, and you fire them messages, and they hate it. They tell you to get out of here. Well, if that happens to you, you can go to Salesbread, and we will kind of fix that.
You go to Salesbread, man.
Hey,
we'll take care of it.
Oh, this is horrible.
1 day a day.
Basically, we'll do ultra personalized outreach that you wish you had the time to do, so that more people say, yeah, I like what you're doing. Let's talk. And all you have to do is the next step is go to salesbread.com. You're going to see a contact page. You click it, and we're going to have a chit chat. We'll share some tips at the very least. At the very most, we'll just be your sales engine so that you can make some moolah. That's it. All right.
That's cool. So join me next to the water cooler virtual one. We're going to talk about Startup Weekend. Do you know about them? Like, do you know what they do?
I know about them because actually, I think Miami had a Startup Weekend recently. It's a worldwide organization that does what?
It's just basically introduction to entrepreneurship type of thing in a weekend.
Is it intro? Is it for beginners? No.
More or less, yes, I would say. Honestly.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not a beginner, you already got your. Well, I go there as a mentor. So this weekend we got a startup weekend in Zurich, and so I'm going there as a mentor. So I'm gonna help, and most of the time there are like new people. So it's good introduction to the world of entrepreneurship. And I think it's not a bad thing if you got good mentors. And what I mean by good mentors is people who actually did it, not advisor on a VC board type of crap stuff, but actually someone who put, their hands in a business and then started, a business themselves. And sometimes you have that. And I think that's very precious in terms of experience, people who did it. And therefore they can really help you reframe your approach to, asking you the right question as to how you're going to generate money, and ask you uncomfortable question that usually people are not comfortable with. Like they prefer to play business,
how are you going to make money? No.
yeah, exactly. No, I want to look at my logo. Like, this is funny. I did like a talk in a few years back, and I was saying guys, don't spend time playing games or playing business. Don't create your logo. Don't create your name. Doesn't matter where you go. My company is called HCG Partners. It's like one of the worst names ever, but no one gives a crap about it. And so, people in the audience were actually drawing their own logo for that stuff. And I was like, oh man, there's just stuff. And it was like so funny to come to talk to me after. I was like, oh man, it really hit me, your talk, because I was actually, doing the logos.
Well,
and stuff.
when you put that aside, what's left is the hard work, so it's a nice distraction to do logo design.
People don't know, when they're actually starting. It's what I call a storefront effect, which basically means as a consumer, you only see the storefront of any business. You don't see the back end, but the business always started from the back end. So as a customer, you experience the end results through, things. And then as a business owner, you actually build it the other way around, from the back end to the front store, right? And so people just replicate what they're seeing, which is the front store. And of course, I call that playing business, because you need to have all the other back end first in order to be able to open your front store. And so that's the idea.
If you even have to do the front store stuff, like you could have a lifetime business without a proper logo.
Yeah, but figuratively, you could say, because you still need to propose something to the client. You still need to have a logo. You still need to have a website, but they come last. And I think that's
there you go.
The thing that. Anyway, not going away from the subject. So
there is a subject on a water cooler, right?
True.
We're taking a stroll.
What the startup weekend is, the idea. So you do your startup with a team within, like, you have an idea, you execute on the idea within the weekend, and most of the weekend is basically spent validating the idea, making sure that people will buy it, and so. Very often people use cold outreach or cold email in order to figure out, to validate their ideas. And so my question to you for this water cooler is like, what would you recommend, like a startup team, on how to approach cold outreach? Because they don't have a week, they don't to test it. They don't have like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. They only like 1 weekend, which is not even like a week, a work week. So they're not going to reach out to any business per se. Right, it's very difficult. Right. People are just going to see their email on Monday, and it's like too late. And the startup is over.
Okay. So what's the stakes, right? Like, what are we trying to do here? Like, get sales in the door, Jeremy? Like, get lined up meetings for next? Like, what are we trying to do?
Well, if I'm the mentor of a company, of a team, then I would definitely say the only thing that matters is how much money did you get. Whether it's in promises of buying or whether it's like hard cash in the bank. And of course, it's difficult to do that for a company. I love B2B, and most of the time, they kind of have to rely on B2C, because obviously business are closed, but not all businesses.
That's fine.
Like some businesses are open on weekends. Retailer, for example, are open on weekends and stuff like that.
Okay, but here, let's define the problem one more time. So, like, what's a win? Let's say would they do what we recommend and they did it? Like, what do they accomplish?
Probably I would say an interview with their target audience, because then I like a demo, basically, or demo that is not quite a demo. Right?
How many?
It's more like research.
How many?
Ideally, they will get 10. Right, 10 lined up, signed to people. I think that'd be a great.
So the first thing I would do is, like, your startup weekend, you have to get your first 10 demos. It's a brand new company. I'm tapping my network, and my network's network. That's it. And the only thing I need to clarify is, like, do you need something to show by Sunday night? Yeah. Like, does it? You do.
There's a demo day, in a sense, or demo stuff, where there's a bit more than that. You usually don't present like an end product, but you should have like a series of slides that tells you
that's cool.
You've been doing your research during the weekend.
All right. Well, then, you know what I'm going to do for that group, Jeremy, is like each group member, how many? There's 4 people in a team?
Depends. The team varies. Usually it's up to 10.
Up to 10. Look at that. So let's just say there's 5 team members. So each person is responsible to book 2 demos. Okay. Each team member knows a B2B professional that wouldn't mind getting a text message from them on a Saturday afternoon. So they're not going to be checking their inbox, but if I need 10 scheduled demos by Sunday night, I'm going to send a text message to 5 people that I know well, that are in my target audience, and I'm going to line up 2 demos each by Sunday night. And if you would have told me we could do this by Wednesday, I would have done the cold email thing real hard. But if it's Sunday night, you got to use the phone. I'm not going to hope that my target audience is standing by their email.
Well, that's a really
what do you
good
think?
thing. Yeah, the phone, I like it. I like it very
Mhm.
much. Yeah. I prefer actually in person. So if you can, actually, it's even better. You just go there, like go where, like if you plan on, I don't know, serving restaurants, with your new stuff, then go out and just ask restaurant owners. Sometimes they're here
Like
on
random
Saturdays.
ones with, so you wouldn't go your network.
Well, sometimes they don't have access to the network. Bear in mind that sometimes they're just fresh from college, or they just have like a few years in a certain industry, and they go on work on a different project that has nothing to do with their industry, and so therefore they haven't built a network there yet. And that's why I was thinking of like cold email. One of the reason why I also brought up the subject is that part of the startup weekend is you're given like a free domain, a .co domain. And so people start,
Oh,
yeah. And so people start emailing from this domain. And so the .co domains have a really bad reputation for deliverability. So it's kind of funny because everyone probably like just go ahead and do that. But in fact, I will use my personal sort of email, and I will, go after my network. But when you don't have access to this network, let's say, for example, you really like an idea about food, but you don't have any chef or restaurants, right? So you will join a team that is developing something for chef and restaurant, whatever.
right.
You don't have any access to this network. So you're going to have to open it one way or another. I prefer personally, you go in person. If that business is open, just go there. Or trying to interview there by, just going to random
A
restaurants.
tip if you're going to restaurants to pitch a thing to sell, don't go during the lunch or dinner rush. There's a really funny excerpt from Kitchen Confidential where it's like Anthony Bourdain gets a call from a fish salesman, and he's like, okay, so he's like, tell him all the restaurants in town that he sells to. And he's like, oh, okay, so you sell to a lot of restaurants? So you've been around the business? Oh yeah, we've been around a long time. So what are you doing calling me during the damn lunch rush? So pick your hours accordingly. Now, where else could cold email fit in this, Jeremy? I'm kind of wondering if you could do kind of the two-pronged approach where, let's say you don't have any hotels in your network, you're fresh out of college, maybe one or two people that probably do, they work in the industry or they know someone that works in it. I would call them and say, can you set me up with the person's email who works at X place? Like, I know you're around this industry, because the low-hanging fruit is really important if you've got, the weekend in order to line these appointments up.
It's tough because I would love that this is during the week, because B2B is much easier, much better. But at the same time, you understand that they're having a full-time job. They're busy the whole week.
That's right.
So it makes it very difficult for the event. So a lot of those ideas are really around B2C type of businesses.
Okay.
So, serving with an app and stuff like that. One thing that works well is some social media where like people are on, whether it's like maybe Facebook or stuff like that, where you can reach out to people very quickly.
So if it's B2C, Jeremy, I'd be cold calling. I don't think I would be driving around. And I think if you kind of know what you're pitching right away, skipping ahead to cold calling would just get you a lot more at bats a lot faster. You could try out a lot of different pitches, and you're probably going to get the business owner on the phone if it's brick and mortar. What do you think the advantage is to actually going in person?
Usually it shows commitment, and this is a good point. And I think you get more information by seeing the person.
Right.
And then it's harder to physically block someone rather than actually just putting the phone down.
Okay.
Right? The other thing that I realized personally is that the founders are not there on Saturday and Sunday most of the time. It's the employee that is here.
if they're good.
It's true.
Right. Interesting. Well, that kind of reminds me, there's probably one of my earliest companies I tried to make, a mentor told me what to do to get your first B2C leads and customers.
All right.
And it had to do with in-person stuff. And this is, at that point had a lot of experience door-to-door sales.
Nice.
And they recommended, they're like, all right, they were actually kind of smart about it. They said, what are you selling? And this was when I was like 18 or something. I was like, I'm gonna do a garage cleaning service. Our garage is disgusting. People's garage is disgusting. You make some money doing this. I don't mind it.
And I may propose this idea to my son, actually. He's into gardening at the moment.
Okay. So think about this. So the idea was, what are you able to, like, where does your end customer hang out? Right. And so we decided that the person that would want this garage cleaning service was most likely to shop at a particular department store. Right.
Brilliant.
And
I love this.
it was like a fancy home goods kind of store. Like they're there buying stuff for the house, and they are there with a particular budget that could likely afford this service. Right. And they said, go in front of the store, wear a button-down shirt. And then the trick was, bring a clipboard. If you have a clipboard, they're going to talk to you. They want to know what today's modern version would be probably an iPad or something, but like you need something to write down notes
remarkable
of. Okay.
Type of thing, right?
And the clipboard got me to talk to anyone I wanted to. People would come up to me and say, excuse me, what are you doing here? Like, what? Yeah, they want. This is Saturday afternoon shoppers.
Today's B2B.
and I actually ended up getting a paid customer out of it before they kicked me out.
That's true.
It isn't an easy way.
What
like soliciting sucks.
Right.
Soliciting sucks. But so if you're going in person, bring a clipboard, and if you just come across someone who's collecting information, you're like accepted a bit.
My son uses flyers. Yeah, it goes well.
Flyers.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Flyers could work, but they're not going to be as fast if you need it by Sunday.
For a startup weekend, that doesn't work. Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited. I don't know what's gonna come up. Yeah, you always see the same sort of like bad pitch coming in again and again. Oh, it's again this app for exchanging whatever. It's like you always see the same app coming up at some point. But when you ask about like monetization, they say, "Oh, it's gonna be founded by ads." Like, good luck.
Good luck. Yeah. Do you want to like throw one example that you've heard before? We kind of walk through but the cold email you can make something up too,
So here's one. I think you could make it work with the cold email actually. But it's a terrible one, and you shouldn't do it if you go in your startup weekend, but you're gonna hear about it. It's like every time it's the same. Is a service where you can say people bring me back stuff from certain countries. And you're in Egypt,
like that for Morocco.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is just something to get cigarettes at a cheaper price and alcohol or whatever. And then so that is contraband. It just always end up like that. And people don't get that, but it's always funny because this is always what is going to end up with. And so, yeah.
But we could run with it for a minute.
Exactly. Keep starting it. It's not that difficult, right?
I'd go to the airport. I'd go to the airport when the flight to Morocco is about to leave.
All right.
And oh man, I could see all of the security guards coming over. Wow, that's
what are we doing here?
If I see that flyer and one more trash can. Oh, that's interesting though, because we have the luxury of like people checking their inbox, and if it's good, we're gonna get good back. But what happens when there isn't another, you know what I mean? Like what happens if there's not a window where your people are going to be checking? But that's probably throwing another wrench in it because it's B2C.
Yeah, exactly. This is much harder. Like I wouldn't go B2C. People will just say like, why do I need to pay $2 for that? Like, man, this is 6 months of development. yeah, I can have another app for
No
free.
kidding.
It's just like,
Yeah,
like those are not your,
that's a good
those are not the
point.
people I really like,
Right.
to try to gain. And it's really like a volume game at this stage. And so that means you need a really good channel. Most people don't
Okay.
think of channel. They just think of
Okay. I have an idea. What I might do is I'd probably spend a lot of time on Twitter sending direct messages to people.
Oh, that's a good one. I was mentioning
Yeah.
Facebook, but Twitter is also a really good one for that.
Yeah. Like for the travel thing, I would say people that are
And you can find professional on
mentioning.
Twitter too, actually. So you can find whoever is a professional B2B business owner. You can, check if they have like a Twitter profile, check if they're active on Twitter, and boom, contact them and say, hey, I'm in a startup weekend right now. I got a great idea I'd like to talk to you about.
What about this, Jeremy?
Do you
What
have
about
like
this?
5 minutes to jump on a call or whatever?
I've got it. I've got it.
Nice. We
Here.
cracked it.
So if you want to run with the flight, bring something back from country idea.
Right, go for it.
Whatever. Okay. You find like the top 50 or top 100, like maybe middle bracket, like top 50 to 100 travel Twitter people.
All right.
And you pay them to send a message. Hey, this new company is doing this. Here's where you can go to be the first to get the giveaway. And you spend some money getting a lot of people to send that message to their group of very, let's say, hardy travelers or whatever that world is. Get them to tell it to thousands of them that weekend. That'll work.
Yeah, I think you're gonna end up morphing into an import-export company, and then that's it. And you can actually kick it off by saying, hey, there's a great product I love from Japan, but it's not like, and then you just basically try to sell this product, and then you end up with like an export-import, type of company, and
right.
That's okay. That's a legit company,
right.
And it's always far from the B2C, actually C2C even, like because they want this to be, between customers. And then you just realize, like, why do I go C2C when I could just do like, build a normal business and make like a margin on whatever I'm importing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm almost looking now at like the paid ads route too. Like it's just about getting 10 meetings. So if you could get.
Yeah, but Jack, you have to remember that in those type of setups, like if you took like money to validate their ideas, like
they don't like that.
Even $10, like for them, it's like it's big. They don't quite understand the sort of ratio. And I think you're right. Like distribution is everything, and they don't necessarily have that. Again, this is an introductory course to entrepreneurship, and I don't think like spending money to accelerate their stuff and so on. I don't think this is really that, unless you're actually a bit more experienced.
Okay, how about this? How about you do the same approach? Reach out to the influencers who, if they sent one tweet, you would maybe hit your quota right there. You could probably say like, look, I don't have cash to pay you up front, but this is a startup, and anyone that comes in, we're going to give you 80% of the money they spend.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. That works. Affiliates. You actually kickstart it with an affiliate stuff. Yeah, mind you, if they're a really good influencer, they are usually used to those sort of pitch, and they will expect like hard cash value. They say like each of my tweet is 20K, for example. What you can do is reach out for a niche. And then in this case,
go smaller. Go
exactly.
smaller. Mm-hmm. Let me think. You could also go the nonprofit route, Jeremy. You could say any dime that we make this weekend is going to go to supporting Ukraine.
Plant a tree.
Right?
Yeah, whatever. Right.
Yeah. And that way, like they can feel good about promoting that. It's like the new customers can feel good about supporting it.
Or I like sometime. I think it could work maybe for a few people saying like, we're happy to donate, $100 to whatever is your organization, whatever is your charitable stuff, like instead because obviously some people are worth more than $100 an hour, and so they didn't give you that time. But if this is for their
nonprofit,
their nonprofit cause, and maybe they will say yes. So, but again, it's money to get access, and in fact, lots of things gets easier with money, right?
Yeah, but it sounds like the payoff for this group would be how to do that quickly and cheaply?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say this is not a realistic goal, but I think this is probably more like playing Monopoly in terms of like getting your ropes and used to than actually creating a real company. And I will get trash talk because obviously some companies get formed from Startup Weekend, but I think it's more the exception than the rules. And not just because some of the people just go away and then the team disband and stuff like that, but it's more because the setup is more for learning than it is to actually create something long term, right? And so when you're learning, then you're gonna,
still valuable. Who cares?
It is 100% valuable. I'm not saying the opposite, but I'm saying like the goal is not to create a profitable company by the end of 70, or by the end of the 2 days, which is a shame. Personally, I wouldn't actually do that. Like, I think it's possible. You can create a profitable company after 2 days, after a weekend. It is possible. The question is, but I don't think people really get that yet. Like, they're not at that speed yet.
Hold on,
Jeremy. I've been doing lots of startup weekends. I love it. It's fun. Sometimes people are not there. Yeah.
I have to share another thing that you're going to crack up with. This one involves using QuickMail, which you should like. Yeah.
Okay.
It's maybe the first cold email angle here, but let's say you're selling something so B2C, it's not even funny. It's like a new type of shoe technology or whatever.
Cool. Okay.
What I'd probably do is go to my own Gmail, and there's a service Google made called Google Takeout, and you can download all your contacts, and it downloads it in a .mbox file, which basically means it's like a bunch of contacts plus the email threads that have been shared between them. So I would then say, all right, like everyone I've ever emailed in my life, show me the people I've emailed the most in the top 100 people I've ever contacted. Like, these are going to be family, friends, and longtime, colleagues. And I'll take those 100 people that know Jack really well, and I'm going to create a quick mail campaign that's going to say, happy Saturday, name is totally random. I'm here at Startup Weekend. I need an intro to shoe enthusiasts. Who could you hook me up with? Totally random. Have a great one, whatever. And then roll that out to like 100 people in that afternoon. And I'm sure I would get more than 20 people, like, unless it was crazy niche, but I'd probably get 20 referrals. And I'd even say like, hey, I need phone numbers because it's part of this contest that ends Sunday. And then my good friends would just help me give phone numbers to their people. And then I would say, hey, and I'd get the 10 meetings.
Yeah. And honestly, if you're listening to that and you are participating to a Startup Weekend, you should do that on Friday evening, right? Because it starts on Friday evening. You should start it on Friday evening straight away, because then the answer will come later, especially if you're doing emails, which is part of the challenge, is that people, by the time they realize that you should do certain things, it's already way too late. The time is really at the essence here. I would, in a similar stuff,
but it's cool though, right?
Say, absolutely. Yeah. I will basically say like, so I will use the same technique to figure out who I should contact. And I will say like, hey, we got that crazy new shoes technology. Do you know anyone who is running or love running? I'd like to, just quickly chat with them. But obviously, I mean, part of this Startup Weekend, it's ending up, on Saturday evening. I need to get hold of them today. Do you have their phone number or something like that? I could do. I promise not to be a jerk on the phone.
There you go.
Full disclosure or whatever.
There you go. That'd probably work, right?
That probably worked.
Even better if it's a personal account, because I mean, like it or not, people check their inbox all the time. Sunday afternoon, doesn't matter. Like people do.
Some do, yes. Some do.
So, I mean, the fact that you could do that to 100 people, back it up with a text message, whatever. Like, the idea is ask a bunch of people in an automated way, probably, if you could get their help to connect you with 20, and then half of them will agree to show up, and you did it. And if every team member does that, you probably got it.
Yeah, half of the game is to convince the team to actually, align the team and convince the team to actually do those sort of things. By the time you manage to do that, we are Saturday evening, and then they need to already prepare their presentation for the next day.
True.
It's tough. It's tough, but it's fun. It's really fun to watch. Sometimes it's difficult for me to watch, but yeah.
And sometimes difficult. I can believe it. But the nice thing is, if the business has legs, you're still going to be happy getting those responses Monday morning after the contest is over, because that's your business. That's great.
I agree. The best ones are the one who are long-term view and not just the weekend. And there's something they like, because you do have like some people who just take it as a joke, and it's fine too. You can learn that way too.
Right.
But I do love, like, I mean, that's part of what I do and how I approach things, but I do love to give it a real shot, like try to find an idea I really want to run with, and then try to validate it during the weekend, and maybe finding that this is a stupid idea, and in this case I save some time in trying to execute this idea for 3-6 months.
That's worth something. That's worth a great deal to figure out what to not do.
Cool people to talk to. Like, I'm looking forward to meet again some people over there that I see.
So cool. Absolutely. No, I see only positives. I mean, at the end, it's probably gonna be fun. I
know I'm gonna cringe at some of the ideas, and some like, man, you're never gonna make money, kind of thing. But fine, it's gonna be fun.
Just deep breaths. You're gonna get through it. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'll let you know, obviously, how this goes.
Well, a super water cooler chat. I'm happy we finally arrived at a cold email application.
Can you say that? Can we basically say that this is probably not the best channel when it comes to really high time sensitive stuff? And you're right, phone is probably the best, right?
Phone, probably the best. What?
Well, maybe you could get a list of phone numbers and just like.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. God, I don't know how to get B2C phone numbers.
I think you got Lucia or some stuff like that.
B2C.
Oh, B2C. Yeah. No. We don't do B2C, man.
Okay.
That'd be tough.
Oh man, if you're a cold caller calling B2B on a Saturday, my heart goes out to you. That sounds like a rough spot. You're calling about what? I'll give him the line about the lunch rush.
Yeah, you better get an angle, right? Or some
I'm calling you on a Saturday because I think my boss has lost his mind and he's going for this deal that I know is going to get shut down by everyone on Monday morning. You got 1 minute to hear it? No. Man, that would be tough. All right, Jeremy. I think that was a super water cooler, man.
Yeah. All right. That was awesome. Thanks, Jack, for going with me on this one. And
you're welcome. Have a great time at Startup Weekend.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Show them the ropes, my friend.
I will. It's going to be painful, but show me the money. Show me the
money.
Yeah,
show me the money. All right. You got your mantra. See you next time, man. Thanks, you.
Jack. Bye.